Time for some exhaust today. I bought this tubing kit from Speedway Motors. It's 2.5-inch diameter tubing. It's just a mild steel. It came in all coated with oil to keep it from rusting, and I just got it all wiped down real good. You can see they give you 4 90-degree elbows, 4 U-bends, 4 of these 45-degree pieces, and then 4 4-foot length. It's 16 gauge wall thickness, which is 1/16 of an inch. One end has been expanded out so you can attach them like this, or you can just butt them up like that and weld them. I'm sure I'll have a combination of both of those joints when I get done. And over here I've got the rest of the system. I've got a couple of laminar Flowmaster mufflers. It's kind of a new design that they've come out with. Hopefully those are going to have a nice sound to them. It's supposed to be a little less restrictive than a lot of the mufflers that they make. Got a couple of band clamps. I'm going to try and do this whole system with 2 pieces down each side attached with those clamps, those band clamps. And then I've got the flanges that go onto the exhaust manifolds, and these were provided by Hooker with the exhaust manifolds. And these are the exhaust manifolds. Like I said, they're Hooker. They're designed for a LS swap into a Chevy S10 pickup. They are nice and compact, tied up to the block, so it gave me plenty of clearance on the sides. Especially over here on the driver's side, I needed clearance around my steering box. I've got an 1 3/8 1.5 right there, so that's going to be real good. This vehicle that I'm putting this on is a 66 Corvette that I'm swapping that LS1 motor into and a 4L60E transmission. I did have the body on here to check clearances around the transmission tunnel. I've got a lot of clearance there, and also to check clearance around my firewall to the back of the engine. I've got good clearance there also. And while I had the body on it, I made some marks on the frame. You can see right here, this is where the firewall came down here, and then is kind of right in line with that. And this one here marks the bottom of the body where it sets down in there, just so I can make sure that I've got clearance when I go to run these exhaust pipes. And I think I want to start right here and work my way up to that exhaust manifold, because I think I need to have my separation between the front and the back half pipes right here, so that I can break this loose, drop it down, pull this out here, and then the back can come back that way. So I think this 45-degree piece is what I need here, maybe like about right there. And then I got this piece. Actually, this is from leftover from another project a long time ago. Just trying to do a fit check. Maybe if I cut this off down here, I can attach that to it, come forward under the floor, and then up out of here, kind of straight down the back. So I think that's what I'll do first. Put a couple of little tack welds on there. The floor comes down to about the bottom edge of that transmission pan right there. So if I can stay 3/4 of an inch or so below that, I'm going to be good. So this here will pretty much allow me to do that. All right, that's not bad. Now I'll come out of here with a piece straight down here, and then come back and intersect with that. This is another one of my 45-degree pieces. So I'm thinking maybe if I can butt these. So maybe if I start out with about a 8-inch piece from here down to this depth here, and see what that does for me. Okay, I've got this piece cut. I've got one of my other 45s. I trimmed about 3 inches off of it. This is just a piece of angle that will help to get these two pieces centered in line with each other. I think that's going to be pretty good right there. I think I'm finally ready to weld it. I ended up trimming about 1 inch off of this piece here so they would slide forward just a little more to clear back here. And it doesn't look bad. So I think I'll bring my welder over here and tack that all into place. So now I'm going to try and more or less duplicate this on the other side of the transmission. And then I'll go from there towards the back, try and just do both sides at the same time as I take it on back. And there's the driver's side, basically a duplicate of what I did on the passenger side. And before I weld all those joints solid, I'm going to run the exhaust system all the way out the back. And then that way, if something happens, I need to make a change somewhere, I can just cut the spot welds and make the change. This is my little band clamp that I'm going to be using. It's going to go in there like that. I'll probably have it turned like that, but just hang it down there now. And then I'm going to have something coming out of there. This long piece can go, let's see, at the back. It's got to be right about there actually. Well, let's see. All right. Well, I'm up against the suspension parts back there, and I'm up against the frame right here. I'm almost flush here, but I'm going to need some clearance. This needs to drop down about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. So I think what I'm going to make is a little S-shaped jog where it'll come out of here, drop down 3/4 of an inch, and then continue on. And on this side over here, this actually has to come, so this needs almost a full pipe width jog, 2.5 inches to come over this way. All right, so I'll make one about 2 little S-shaped pieces, one that offsets the pipes about 3/4 of an inch for this here, and then one that offsets them about 2.5 inches for this side here. I've got these 2 pieces that were out of my scrap pile. I'm just going to try and experiment with those, see if I can make them work. So I'm using this as a straight edge. I've got this piece pushed up against there, and what I'm trying to make now is this little jog that's about 3/4 of an inch offset. So if I take this piece and lay it up here where I've got about 3/4 of an inch gap here. I don't think it's too critical. I just kind of estimated over there. Then if I get this bend and this bend kind of going together at the same place, and then cut right through here. Now I'm going to go down straight down where I'm making my mark. Put a mark on there. Look straight down from this one, go here. So then this one will get cut kind of right here. So I'll just go cut these 2. See if that won't do it. Just got them cut, and I'm just using my chop saw over there to cut them. Now then, if I lay this one up here, I think that's pretty good. Got about 3/4 of an inch. I could actually probably massage this one a little bit. I'm gonna take a little bit off of the back side here and then make them a little bit more parallel, I believe. Okay, that looks like nice and parallel. So I will put some tacks on that, see how it fits over there. Okay, I've got this piece sitting in here. I put a little 6-inch extension on here just to bring the bend back to where it matches up with what's on the other side there. I've got it resting on some blocks. I've got the other side done as well. Here's it. I've got it resting on some blocks back there too. And you notice on this driver's side, I've got a little more of a bend in it, a little bit of a kick out to the outside. And the reason I'm having to do that is because the engine and transmission are offset to the passenger side about 1 inch off center. But back here, my suspension parts are centered in the frame. And where I need to run the exhaust is kind of right under this area here. And so I want that to be the same on both sides. So in order to get that the same, I had to kick this one out just a little bit. So now I can connect pieces, some straight pieces to here and to the other side over here, and bring them on back here beyond this suspension a little bit. And then they're gonna have to make some turns and get up top here. And my mufflers are gonna go right in this area here somewhere. So what I think I need to do now maybe is get my mufflers kind of more or less in position where they're going to go. Then I can figure out how those pipes are going to come back and meet up with them. These little pieces of cardboard, I got one here, I got one on the other side, are just patterns of where the rear of the body goes, right in here. And when I had the body on the frame, when I was checking clearance around the transmission tunnel and what have you, why I made these and bolted them onto the frame to represent where the rear of the body goes. I've got one of my mufflers hanging on by some straps there, and I think that's more or less where I want it. It'll exit right out the back here. And I'm going to try and keep the muffler parallel to the edge of the frame here. And it looks like from the side, I've got about a 2x4's width between here and the frame. So I think if I take that tire out of there, run a 2x4, clamp it under the frame here and over here, that'll give me something for the front of the muffler to rest up against. I can put another piece, maybe a 1x2 right here going across. And then that'll align the muffler vertically. And then horizontally, I can really be anywhere from this edge of the frame out flush with this outside edge of the frame. So I can probably clamp a couple of pieces going down vertically here and then slide the muffler over to them or put spacers in them, get the muffler right where I want it. And then I'll get that strapped down or tied down securely. And then from there, once I know exactly where I want the mufflers positioned, I can run my tubing from the front of the muffler down and around and connect to the tubes that I've already got started up front there. And here it is. It looks like a mess, but you can see I'm resting up against my wood blocks across the bottom. I've got these boards clamped to the frame coming down this way. And I decided to go ahead and just roll my mufflers right over against them. Got some straps on there to hold them in place. Same thing on this one over here. Here's what it looks like from underneath. All right, maybe I can use one of my right angle pieces. So maybe I cut about right here. I think I can come right out of here, down here, and then put another 90 degree and right into there. So let me go cut this. Okay, that's not too bad. Now I can get one going this way. Had to make a little S-shaped piece in order to get this under this suspension part here. All right, I've got all my tubes tack welded together. So now I've got good clearance here, here. The muffler's up there where I want it. So now I'll come over to this side and try and duplicate that. And here it is, all tacked in. Now I need to get some permanent hangers located in a few places to secure those pipes. I think maybe I can come off of back here with something to tie into here on both sides. And I would like to get maybe one coming off of here, right down there in front of that muffler. And maybe one right on the back here, tying the back of the muffler. So I think if I got the muffler tied in real good, and then another support on the pipe right down there, I think I'm gonna be in pretty good shape with it. Just went down to AutoZone and picked up a bunch of muffler clamps and a bunch of tailpipe hangers. And this is what this looks like. I thought maybe I could use it as is, but at least on those forward hangers, these are way too tall. So what I did, I've got one installed temporarily, but I took this piece out of here, just ground that rivet off and knocked it out. And then I did the same thing here, knocked that rivet off, got this piece off of here. Then I took and cut right through here, and I sandwiched these two pieces over the clamp like this, and that allowed me to do this right here. I just welded a little piece on the cross member here, and then, like I say, this welds to the upper part of the clamp, and I think that'll hold it pretty good shape right there. The only problem this causes is I believe this is going to interfere with the part of the body that rolls over here. I've got a couple of little storage containers behind the seats, so I may have to build a little bubble to clear that. That's in those little areas behind the seat right there. Here's what I did back here. I cut that lower piece off of there, just welded it to the upper clamp bracket. I drilled and tapped a hole in the frame. Of course, I'm going to cut this off here. Similar thing back here, although I did have to, because of this big cutout here, I didn't have nothing to drill into, so I had to weld a little tab right there, and then drilled and threaded a hole in that. There's the finishing touches on this exhaust tubing. Got these stainless steel tips tack welded on. One last thing I've got to do before I dismantle that exhaust system for final welding is get a location for my oxygen sensors. I've got these little weld-in bungs. Oxygen sensor screws right into that. They're threaded. So I can drill a hole in the exhaust pipe over there, weld these in. On the original exhaust manifolds, they mount just right here, right at the bottom of the manifold. So I'm thinking if I get close to the outlet area on those other manifolds, I'll be just fine. So somewhere close by here, I think is where I want to put them. I don't want to go right there because I need to have access to get this bolt out. So maybe on an angle here, around here somewhere. You don't want to put them underneath because you don't want stuff getting into the sensor. So it needs to be kind of up on the top part here. Now let's see. And I already checked. I've got good clearance coming back here for my firewall. So I think maybe over here, if they're hanging out here, they might be more susceptible to some damage. But right in here, they're pretty well protected from everything. So I think that might work. I think that might be good right there. I pulled all the tubing off of there. Now I've got to get busy and weld up all of these joints. Everything's all welded up now. I put a little paint on them, so I'm ready to install them back in the chassis there. I believe that wraps up the exhaust system. So thanks for following along.